This one we might have already done. Oh god, SAT, this is your game.
You can move on to a different replay if you want.
I don't know, we haven't done the Italian destroyers that much, so if you think it's worth doing, let's do it. That's why I picked it, frankly. Looks like you're using ST camo?
Yes.
Alright. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you talk us through the ship, what you think about the ship, all that. I'm gonna go get some more water. While you're doing that, okay?
Alright. Okay. So, I don't remember how to pronounce it. Aviere, I believe. Tier 6 Italian destroyer. Notable, very similar to the other Italian tech tree destroyers. Carries SAP, fuel smoke, but has very short range. Compared to other destroyers, she also has long-range torpedoes, but they have very low damage. This makes her a surprisingly good gunboat, but difficult to play correctly. But she can also function as a torpedo boat if you're not comfortable with guns. An interesting all-around ship. Mostly. Yes. So, like the other Italian destroyers, her SAP makes her excellent at fighting other destroyers. And with that fuel smoke, you can instantly go dark if something goes wrong. So this is why I rush into B at the very start. I know I'm going to have similar concealment to other destroyers, and if I have to fight them, then I can just smoke and turn away, if necessary. And I'll let the Mahan do all the spotting. Pretty much. So even though there's a Miyoko on the side, I'm not worried about being spotted.
Okay.
You have such a short gun range that you actually don't get spotted very often when you're firing.
Yeah, you can use that against the enemy, basically, right?
It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you won't have enough range to shoot people, but the other times you'll go dark instantly because you don't have the range to shoot people.
You replay as Wesser? Okay, Tim. Well, I mean, yeah, your turret reverse. Now, okay, there's some comments in chat. Ralsanti said the turret reverse seems a little crappy for this tier. Would you agree?
I'm fine with it. Let me double check what the turret reverse was.
So, I mean, the thing is, if you know where the enemy is, turret reverse isn't that big of a deal, but if you get yourself surprised all the time, then it really sucks.
That's one way to look at it.
You might take a torp here. Oh, just in time.
Turret reverse is 13 seconds. So I personally don't mind it, but if you're having troubles with the turret reverse, then the greasy gears is fine.
Yep. Or in slot 3, or is it 2? You could put the turret reverse one on too.
That would be slot 3, but that takes away aiming systems, and you really want aiming systems on the Italian destroyers.
Aiming is nice for shots like what you're doing here with SAP on the man. And he's gonna beach.
Unfortunately, he beaches at just the right angle, so HE is actually better here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the SAP hits hard as a truck. Now, why didn't you switch to the Gallant, who is looking at you and more broadside-ish?
I was thinking of just trying to take out Mahan, because he is... First of all, I can swing all my turrets on him already, and if I want to get the Gallant, then I have to go forward and turn left. Mahan was kind of stuck there for a while, so I was
So-
thinking maybe I could get some more damage onto him first.
Right, so you expose more of your side. I'm just bringing that up because a lot of players might say, oh, let me angle all my guns and get on there, but in the process, you're right. You do expose a lot more of your ship to counterfire from, like, Mahan or even the Lazo.
You do bring up a good point. I did eventually switch over to the Gallant because he took quite a bit of damage.
Mm-hmm. So now you have a decision. Do you go for the Miyoko or do you try to head north to deal with the Lazo?
So since we already had quite a few ships in the middle, I was more worried about the Miyoko going to the flanks.
Plus, you hadn't seen the TED 61 until just now.
So when you're spotted by the other destroyers, you don't need to smoke immediately. It's only if you need to get out of jail, like if the Miyoko starts shooting me.
Yep, the thing about this smoke for Italian destroyers is you will never outrun it. So if you pop that smoke, you completely blind yourself. So you need somebody else to be spotting for you. Otherwise, you're gonna waste it.
Instead,
there you
I
go, Nikki.
popped the speed boost first.
Yep. Now this is kind of like a burst speed boost that gets you moving really fast, but for a short duration. So it's really good for dodging ships if you're out in open water, which you were.
It lasts only about 20 seconds, so I recommend you hit it as soon as you're detected, or as soon as you're fighting. So I noticed Miyoko was moving pretty far away. He was on the F9 island,
Yeah.
and so I don't think he was much of a threat anymore.
No, I mean, the Miyoko's a really good cruiser. It's a fantastic kiting cruiser and flanking cruiser, and I think that's how he wants to play it. The problem is, at this point in the battle, he really can't afford to play it that way. Oh well. And look, your torpedoes reached that. Now, you're going cot spread here?
Oh yes.
Why are you going cot spread?
The Italian torpedoes are pretty slow, so it's kind of difficult to aim it normally. I just throw it out into the wind because I don't care if it hits or not.
Sure.
If it causes them to react and changes movement, I'll take that as a win.
Mm-hmm. Now you see the TED 61 and you're turning away because you know that he could hydro push you, but for whatever reason he's not. He's turning away. So congratulations there, because that. I mean, if he hydro push you, I suppose he'd be dead regardless. But
Yep, he would have. Let's see. Worst comes to worst. If he tries to hydro rush me, I just run away at full speed.
yep, and then he's got the Sin Up and Shino to deal with. I mean, either way, he's screwed, right? They've lost at this point. It's just a question of how much damage each of these guys will do before they go out.
Yep, as you saw right there, I immediately disengaged as soon as the Z died. The T-61 died.
Yeah, there's no reason to. I mean, you're gonna win now at this point in about 30 seconds or so. But your Shino Nome is gonna extend the game for you, so that's very nice of him. He's gonna get you more XP. Is that a naked Gneisen now? Looks kind of like it. Hard to tell. Alright, here you go. Using your Inky, and you're using Sap. And you're shooting a superstructure, which is what you do with Sap, because with the battleship, your shells will probably shatter on the deck and the upper belt armor. So you might actually want to aim a little bit higher.
Gneisenau also is pretty well armored all around,
Yeah.
similar to other German battleships.
So,
So it's
maybe you'd be better off shooting HE to try to set fires.
perhaps HE isn't the most damaging, but it can do some work. I still prefer SAP because it does a lot more damage overall, and
Now
it does
see-
it instantly.
Yep, see how SAT is aiming very high there, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you're shooting at battleship superstructures and stuff like that, you definitely want to aim higher, so nicely done.